What are some of the stigmas around HIV and AIDS?
A stigma? You mean like what's like the rumors, like what's...
Hi, my name is Kenneth Scriven. I'm one of the House of Shades co-founders. I'm currently getting ready to go to one of our outreach events in the community. Come join us tonight at one of our local events hosted by House of Shades as we gather health advocates to break down the stigmas of HIV and AIDS. With no shame, no shades.
Even in the community that we are right now, like with the transgender people and non-binary, like brothers and sisters, as soon as some people say like, hey, I'm a transgender female, I'm a transgender male, or I'm a non-binary person, they're like, oh yeah, you have HIV, like, oh, you got AIDS, or you're sick because of that. Just because within the community, it's been told so many times that, yeah, it's within the community that HIV is a thing.
Ooh, if I just touch you, like, I can get it. Like, sit on a toilet and somebody that has had, like, a disease or something, like, you can automatically catch it, the seeds. And it's not true.
Sometimes not knowing the stigmas can be just as dangerous as the virus itself.
As soon as you say you're queer, like especially like a mask presenting person, I feel like there's an assumption that you have HIV, or like if you're a trans individual, I feel like gender identity and like your sexuality have a big influence on how people like perceive it, especially like if you're a person of color as well.
Personally that has HIV, if so, how has it affected their social life?
Didn't know how to connect with society when they fell victim of that stigma.
Do say that they struggle every single morning to just wake up. Even when they go to like doctor appointment, answering that question of like, if you have like what type of history do you have, and it's like HIV, it's really hard for them to just kind of like admit and just say like, this is what I have, because of the stigma.
People that are like, they have HIV and they're like undetectable, and people immediately want to like go like this to them in the community, and it's like they're undetectable, like you can have sex, and like you should be wearing condoms anyway, so there's really nothing to worry about. Everyone has that like, oh my god, I'm afraid to get it. You know, there's many medications nowadays that help them live their best lives.
How do you think healthcare providers can be a better service to Black and brown folks?
That bridge can be broken if they willingly take that extra step, like getting tested with us versus getting tested anywhere else. It's like you go to these places, get your results, you get kicked out of the room, and you have to deal with life however it comes to you. Versus like you come to us and like we care for you, we tell you your results, and we don't just have this fake sad face and send you along your way. We legit tell you your results, we find you some sort of treatment for it, we take care of you, we let you know that we're here for you, we let you know what we can do for you, we let you know that we're going to take you where you need to go.
I think it's super important to get tested, specifically because knowing and having that knowledge is helpful for keeping the people we love, our partners, and such safe. Oftentimes a lot of information about STDs and such is like filtered through like straight cis normative lens.
Like I feel like when you're going to get tested or any type of services, you also want it to be by people that are also in the community, especially since House of Shades are focused on like Black and brown youth. I think that's like super important, like getting the proper education about things like HIV versus like the homophobic and like transphobic messages that people are saying.
Like, how do you feel like people like treat people differently based on like their race, gender identity, or like sexuality when it comes to like HIV? Now, if it was a Black person, people are gonna feel like very disgusted. I know, like in school, because we have like a few students in the school who have HIV. They like would like bully them. Other problems like depression. So people are quick.
Oh, people with HIV, they're dying and like this and that. There's many people like HIV living their best lives.
Racism and like homophobia like intersect. I feel like it makes it very like unique when you're talking about certain groups, like especially around HIV.
It's still gonna happen if you decide not to use the right protection, which is why it's really important to educate, whether it's yourself or your friend, the right way to protect yourself, the other person, and just your body.
Something that I've noticed in general is that there's not a lot of media directed towards like trans people in terms of like about the importance of getting tested for HIV, and I think that that's like a super important conversation.
For the people that you know that have like HIV, like have you seen how it's affected them, like personally?
Some
or, like...
people you can't even tell. Like you can't even tell. I mean, you won't physically see them going through it unless they tell you. So it's like,
it's not the death sentence that it used to be. Knowing your status is powerful. Knowledge is power. And thankfully, knowing your status can get you to living a healthier future and equipping you with the tools to live a healthier life.
So House of Shades is important because they're here to help you provide. They're here to teach you about safe sex, help you like get tested so you can know your own like health. And these people here at House of Shades and stuff are like family.
Like they help inform you on like HIV, AIDS, and for instance, they'll teach you about unprotected sex, and then they'll give you other outlets to go to instead of being unprotected, and counselor to talk to, counseling and talking to people about like just still being comfortable with who you are, but still like getting the treatment and like letting you know like what to do when you're in the situation, or like before. Like they have like very, very good sex curriculum. They teach you and they show you what's right and what's wrong, and then it's up to you to do whatever else you do.
And I also think community too, because a lot of the times you can meet a lot of awesome people and long-term friendships, maybe romantic relationships, so many different people from so many different places, and there's so much diversity and flavor that it's just a fun place to be around. It's also just a way for you to learn accountability for your own mental and physical health.
Yeah. So I think that programs like House of Shade are really important because, for one, I think they give the community a space to be around people like them and really build that self-confidence.
It's the no, I'm not the only one, and I can continue to move on. And you know, there's other people like me that have been able to move on. You know, it's take a step back and think, you know what? Yes, I've been diagnosed with HIV, but this is not going to hold me back, and I'm not HIV. I am me, and HIV is just a part of me.
Or it's just like, if a certain group of people are telling you this and it's very consistent, then maybe you should do it.
In small communities like ours, it is important for us to bring people together. Our well-educated team of young adults periodically take time out of their schedules to be a part of this vision. With your support, we can all walk around with no shame.
Shade, no shame.
No 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 shade, no shame.